Of Shabbos. For a few years, I had a running debate with a friend, a good friend, a few years older than me. Every time we would see each other, we would pick up this argument, uh, discuss it good naturedly, but neither of us really convincing the other. My argument was that life is really complicated, and his view was that life is really quite simple. At the Kiddush this Shabbos, we can talk about who you agree with more, if you like. I was who I am for the most part, having seen what I'd seen, read what I read, met the people I met. I concluded that life was really pretty complicated. My friend had been through quite a lot. He was a Holocaust survivor who lived in the woods with the partisans during the end of World War II. Before that, he was a survivor of not just one, but two ghettos. He was first in the Łódź ghetto, which was his hometown. Later, he escaped or was smuggled into the Warsaw ghetto. There, he was in the youth group Hashomer Hatzair, and his group leader was a young fellow called Mordechai Anilevich, if that name rings a bell. So he was a double survivor, and so was his wife. He came to America after the war and met her, married her. She worked for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and worked in its headquarters, which were in the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. She was at work in her office on both days that those towers were attacked, once by a car bomb in 1993, and a second time on September 11th, 2001. She thankfully survived both. The question of is it complicated or is it really simple could easily be asked of our Parsha today. Leaving aside for the moment the significance of Yom Kippur, which is a central theme of the first portion, Acharei Mot, let's look at the second Parsha in our Shabbos reading, titled Kedoshim, or holy, holy in the plural. As in the very first, the very second verse of that Sedra, Kedoshim Tihiyu, you shall be holy. The words are this: Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. God spoke to Moses, saying, Daber el kol das bnei Yisrael. Speak to the entire assembly of the children of Israel. Vamarta aleim. Say to them, Kedoshim tihiyu. You shall be holy. Ki kadoshani Hashem Elokeichem. Because I, your God, am holy. Maybe that's it. Not complicated. Short and sweet. Simple to the point. You are a holy people. So be holy like your God. We know from Exodus that we're a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Mamleches koyanim v'goy kadosh. None of us needs any extra instruction to be holy. That's it. That's our call. That's our charge. That's our instruction. When you come to a situation, you say to yourself, Self, I am a holy Jew. What should a holy Jew do in this situation? And maybe let that be it. Okay, spoiler alert, that's not it. We have 613 specific instructions for particular situations to tell you what to do and how to do it in all these situations. And we believe that from these we can figure out how to deal with any situation that life throws in our path. For those of us who incline to the view that life is complicated, okay, this parsha is right there with us. It tells us in chlora oisius, clear words, what to do in that situation. You want to act like a holy Jew? When you're out harvesting your crops, don't cut everything down. Leave the corners of the field, the payas, so that poor people can come and harvest on their own and have an honorable supper on their table. That's being a holy Jew. When you're in your vineyard, some of the grapes fall on the ground, leave them there. Then let poor people come and pick those up so they can make their own wine. It's called peret. That's being a holy Jew. When you're called upon to judge a situation, do so with justification. Don't decide on your gut feeling. That's acting like a holy Jew. When you see another Jew, love them. That's holy. Do you have a business that relies on selling things by weight or measure? Make sure at all times that your weights and measures are accurate so that you do business with honesty and with integrity. That is acting like a holy Jew. And for all the do's, there's a lot of don'ts. Don't make idols, which has a lot of implications for our times. Don't curse a Jew. Don't hate another Jew. Don't embarrass another Jew. If you want to act in a way that keeps faith with our calling to be a holy nation, you cannot do those things, nor can you hold a grudge. We're also not allowed to take revenge, and a number of others, some 51 all told mitzvot in this portion alone, nearly a tenth of all the mitzvahs in the entire Torah. So if you're looking for specific examples of things to do or not to do, this is a place to start. But again, do we need it? Evidently we do, but why? So if the parsha begins with the instruction to be holy, and holy means different, unique, elevated, extraordinary, that's in the positive vein. The portion and the reading for this Shabbat also conclude with a simple, uncomplicated, straight to the point, don't go in the paths of other nations. Lo seilchu b'chukos hagoy. Not getting into the pejorative meaning of goy, because goy simply means a nation. We just said a few minutes ago from Chumash Shemais that we are a goy kadosh, a distinguished, a holy nation. In our Tachanun prayers on weekdays, we call ourselves just that. Goy echad, it says. Goy kadosh, we also say. And remember that all beings are created b'tzelem Elokim. Every person reflects the divine image. The Torah is saying here, don't be like everyone else to be satisfied with a lower common denominator. More is given to you. More is expected of you. Don't be proud of yourself if you've reached a very low bar. Remember the old conversation from over the years. Doesn't Judaism just want you to be a mensch? Be a nice person. Isn't that all? Isn't that the point? Actually, no. That is the baseline minimum, the lowest bar possible to be a positive member of Canadian society or Norwegian society or Bolivian society. Pay your taxes, don't speed, don't litter. If you see something, say something. That's the minimum. That is not all there is to being a special nation. There is much, much more. To be holy is to be an example. To be a leader is to be a light unto the nations. You see, this is how you act. This is how you take responsibility. This is how you care for your own. And that's a model so that the feeling of answering the call to service influences others around us and inspires them. Rav Ovadia Sforno, the classic commentator from Italy in the 1500s, says that the idea of holiness here, like the idea of godliness, means eternal. Be eternal, meaning preoccupy yourself with what is eternal. Goodness, kindness, generosity, positive influence, positive example, standing up for morality. Don't get distracted by the sideshows, all the things that are competing for our attention. Focus on ultimate meaning. Can we really do that? Are we up to the task? Certainly we are from time to time. And the more we are committed, the more we do it with consistency and reliability, and even surprise ourselves with our commitment. This week is Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of counting the Omer on Friday. The dying of Rabbi Akiva's students stopped on that day, breaking the sadness of this period between Pesach and Shavuos. So Lag BaOmer is a joyous day. It's also the yortzeit of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which is marked with celebration for many reasons. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, was one of Rabbi Akiva's students who did not die in the plague, so he was one of the major key transmitters of the tradition. He's the author of the Zohar, a basic text in the inner dimension of Torah, the mystical literature, or Kabbalah. He was sought after by the Romans who wanted to execute him, but he and his son went into hiding in a cave where they only studied Torah until the Roman emperor died and the sentence was canceled. To this day, hundreds of thousands gather in Meron, a town in Israel where Rabbi Shimon was buried, and celebrate this significant date in the community around his resting place. Of the many noteworthy qualities of Rabbi Shimon, one is that he is the only one of the sages mentioned in every tractate of the Talmud, which speaks to his influence as a teacher and a vessel for transmitting the tradition, continuing the Masorah. The sign associated with Lag BaOmer is the bow. So in Israel, kids play with bows and arrows. Why the bow? It's said that a rainbow, a keshet, never appeared during Rabbi Shimon's lifetime. Why is that? Medrash in Bereshis Rabbah says that this is the indicator of a very worthy generation. God saw no need to remind that generation of the promise never again to destroy the world by showing a rainbow. So peacefully, so harmoniously did people manage to live under the influence of leaders like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. More than ever, in this week of Lag BaOmer, may we feel the influence of Rabbi Shimon and find ways to let peace flourish and spread throughout the land and across humankind. There's never been a better time. Shabbat Shalom.